Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain the design of a band limited signals with the controlled ISI. If you watch my last video, what I have explained there is a design of band limited signals with zero ISI. See, zero ISI means intersymbol interference should be zero completely. There should not be any interference among the symbols transmitted. So how to design band limited signals and designing of the filters. That's what I explained in the last video. Where if z, say if t equal to 1 by 2w, or that is your Nyquist state, what we say, we can achieve a zero ISI. But the problem with that condition is we have to have a sync pulse and the filter response should be ideal. Practical designing of filters are not possible, designing of signals are not possible if t equal to 1 by 2w. Now, practically what we can do is we can keep t, that is a simple interval, more than 1 by 2w, or 1 by t is less than 2w. That means what is 1 by t? 1 by t is a symbol rate. T is a symbol interval, 1 by t is a symbol rate. So if symbol rate is 1, if it is 1 by 2w, we can design a practical filters using that raised cosine spectrum, and I think I have explained that all those things in my last video. Please refer that video again or just watch it to understand this concept again. It's a continuation. Now, I told practically we can design a signals as well as the filters. But if I keep that t more than 1 by 2w or 1 by t less than 2w, symbol rate less than 2w, that means we cannot achieve even a Nyquist state of t equal to 2w. It is not possible. 1 by t is equal to 2w. It is not possible. The symbol rate 1 by t is less than 2w. That is the problem. Practically, with a raised cosine spectrum and all, we can avoid a ISI, but we cannot achieve a symbol rate. Now, what is the solution to this? What is the how to solve this problem? In this video, I'm going to explain that possibility. That is, designing of a band limited signals and filters with controlled ISI. See, I'm saying a controlled ISI. That means intentionally we are allowing certain amount of interference. How to do that? I'll explain with different possibilities. And this is again also called as a partial response signals. So what exactly it is, I'll explain in this video now. Okay, now we'll move on. See, I told about this. What is that? The condition for zero ISI is, the condition for zero ISI is this, that x of nt should be equal to 0 for n not equal to 0, and x of nt should be equal to 1 for n equal to 0. That's what that Nyquist condition says. The Nyquist criteria says for zero ISI. Right? Now, in this method, the partial response signaling, what we can do is we can allow, say, sorry, I'll go back to the previous slide. Yes, coming back to the previous slide. See this. What we are doing is, if we allow one additional non-zero sample, okay, along with a sample at x of nt, that means one sample and the immediate previous sample, if we allow to interfere intentionally in the controlled manner, if I allow that interference to happen, then this method is called partial response signal, and we can design a practically usable filters, low pass and transmitting filter as well as receiving filters. So this method is actually called as, now, or you can say, or this ISI, the ISI what we are going to introduce here is actually called as deterministic ISI or controlled ISI, because in the controlled manner, intentionally I am allowing the interference, and I know it. I'll consider that interference in the receiver and I'll remove that interference by using some method. Okay, so we can design a practically realizable transmitting and receiving filters by allowing the one symbol, additional symbol, to interfere with my symbol. Okay, so such method is represented with time domain by using samples something like this. That is, x of nt is equal to 1 for n equal to 0, comma 1. Two symbols, see here, and 0 otherwise. In the Nyquist criteria, what I said, x of nt should be equal to 1 for n equal to 0, and x of nt should be equal to 0 for n not equal to 0. That's what I told here, right? That's what I told here, correct? With this condition now, for n equal to 0 and 1, it is 1, and 0 for all the remaining values of n. So, controlled manner, we are allowing the interference. This symbol is interfered with this particular symbol at that particular instant of time. Corresponding Zn value, what I can say is Zn equal to t for n equal to 0 or minus 1. We can derive this, but that derivation I have not done. So these things I have done in my last videos. In the last video, what I got the value for Zn is the coefficient Zn is equal to t for n equal to 0. That's it. And 0 otherwise. Now in this case, Zn is equal to t for n equal to 0 as well as minus 1. Okay. When I substitute these values in this equation of Z of, okay, this equation again we derived in the last video. Just go through that video. What we get, ZF equal to either t plus t exponential minus j 2 pi ft. For a Nyquist condition, Nyquist criteria, we get Z of f equal to only t. And here we get an additional term here, that is because of this one. Okay, and if I plot the spectrums at all, now just look at this. This is the plot. See again, with t less than 1 by 2w, we will never get any possibility of designing a filter. Okay, we cannot satisfy the conditions. With t equal to 1 by 2w, we get this spectrum in the frequency domain. That is x of f equal to 1 by 2w, 1 plus exponential minus j pi f by w. That is for frequency less than 1 by w. Within the message bandwidth, you can say, or x of f equal to this particular equation for magnitude of f less than r. This is another way of representing, that's it, the same equation. So these things can be derived. I think I have done this derivation in my notes. Please refer it. My students can refer it. F will be less than, for a f, magnitude of f less than w hertz, and 0 otherwise. If I take a inverse Fourier transform to this particular equation, I will get this equation. Okay, again if I compare this with my Nyquist criteria of a 0 ISI, in that case we get x of t equal to simple sinc function, this one only, here plus sinc of 2wt minus 1. That means at this instant also we have a sinc pulse. I'll show you that here. So this is the additional term what I'll get, and this method is actually called as Dio binary signaling method. This is called as Dio binary signaling pulse. We are considering one pulse and the immediate previous one. One symbol and the previous symbols are allowed to interfere, and this method is called as Dio binary signaling pulse. Now, if I plot the spectrum for this, say this is the spectrum. In the previous case, I got magnitude equal to 1 only for at t equal to 0. Now here at this instant of time also it is equal to 1. Okay, as I told here, it is n equal to 0 and 1. Because of that, we get two sinc pulses. Just look at this. We're getting two sinc pulses. Sinc TWT at the origin. Sinc of 2WT minus 1 means delayed by minus 1 somewhere here. It is equal to 1. Okay. Now this is the time domain. In the frequency domain, if I plot the spectrum for this particular equation, substituting different value of f there, okay, I'll get spectrum something like this. This is, just look at this. This is the spectrum or representation frequency response for a practically implementable kind of filter, right? It is not something like this ideal case. We are not getting some ideal case. The ideal case Nyquist condition, something like this. Sorry, it should be a perfect this thing. Some ideal case, okay, rectangular kind of shape we should get. So, but here we can avoid this. We can have a shape something like this, practically implementable. Okay, if we allow additional interference, and the advantage is we can achieve a symbol rate of 2W also. That is what we can do over here. This is one case. Now I'll go to the second one. Another special case, okay, where we can design a transmitting and receiving filter okay, is by using this method. Just look at this. X of nt or x of n by 2w for t 1 by 2w is equal to 1 for n equal to -1, and it is -1 for n equal to 1. Okay, two symbols again, but the value of that x of nt will be either +1 or -1 for these values. X of n equal to -1 or n equal to +1. If I plot the graph of this or a waveform for this, just look at this. X of nt equal to 1 for n equal to -1. So that is minus here, minus t, it is +1. At +1, you can say, or a plus t, it is -1. So it is for a positive value, it is -1. For a negative value, it is +1. Something like this. Just look at this. Something like this. And it is equal to 0 at any other values. At any other values here, it is 0. That is time domain. If I take a inverse Fourier transform to this, I'll get, this is again x of t, okay? By substituting the equation all, we can get corresponding x of t here. X of t is a sync pulse. That's what I showed here. Spectrum, the frequency domain representation for this is given by this equation. Okay, and we can represent this something like this. It is equal to again 1 here. Magnitude is equal to 1. The magnitude of x of f is equal to 1 here and here. The advantage of this method is, okay, this method is actually called modified duo-binary signal pulse, and the advantage is at f equal to 0, that is DC component, the spectrum is 0. But it is not the case here. At f equal, here, at f equal to 0, we are having a maximum magnitude for the spectrum. So this is useful in certain applications where we don't want to pass the DC. Okay, this is another method. So in general, we can write an equation for this. This is a general equation. I explained with the different methods over there for n equal to 0 and 1, for n equal to 1 and -1, right? For different values of n. Similarly, what we can do is I consider only two pulses there, two symbols, I can say non-zero symbols. Okay, we can consider more than two symbols also. Means interference of say 3 symbols, maybe non-zero symbols, 4 symbols, 5 symbols, n number of symbols, infinite symbols. But the problem is when you go with a more number of symbols for interference, ISI, controlled manner, you can say. But problem with that method is, or that the more number of symbols interference is, complexity increases, and it is very difficult for the receiver to detect the symbols. Okay, so we have to limit to a certain extent. Okay, so in general, okay, now what we can say is the general equation for this duo-binary coding is this equation in the time domain, this equation in the frequency domain. If I substitute again, if I consider different values of n, say +1 and 0 and 1, I'll get back my previous equation. If it is -1 and 1, I get back the previous this equation only I'll get. This equation only I'll get in the frequency domain and maybe the time domain. Fine. And this general method is actually called as partial response signals in general. That's what my title is, right? For a more number of two or more number of symbols, whatever that the method I'll get or equations I'll get, that method is actually called as partial response signals, and we can achieve the advantage is we can achieve a symbol rate of 1 by 2 W hertz. Sorry, symbol rate of 2 W hertz, not 1 by 2 W. T is equal to 1 by 2 W. Now, I'll go to one more topic, that is for a digital PAM. What is the probability of error? Okay, what is the equation? There is no derivation actually. See, it's a simple PAM, and I think I might have explained in my one of the video what is the equation for probability of error for a PAM. The equation is this. The equation for probability of error for a PAM signal, transmission of PAM signal, is this. Okay, this is all I explained in the very first video of this chapter, this module. Ym is a transmitted symbol with without ISI. This is the symbol at the mth interval of time with the additional noise, right? And x0 is given by this epsilon g, where the noise variance is given by epsilon g by n into m0 by 2. Okay, now this is, I said, the probability of error equation there, but epsilon g for is equal to this equation, particular equation, that is 3 average epsilon, that is m square minus 1, or epsilon av is given by k epsilon b, bit average power, you can say. The symbol average power, this is bit average the power. So substitute over there, or energy, you can say energy, bit average energy, you can say. The average energy, we get a average energy over here, that is epsilon g. and you can substitute over here epsilon g and you can calculate what is the probability of error. Now in this case, if I substitute this equation in this equation, I'll get this particular equation, that is 2 into m minus 1 by m cube of root of 6 log of m epsilon BAV m square minus 1 by m naught. So this derivation again is not required for a BTU students, so that's why I have not shown any derivation. So I have just given an equation. So just remember that equation, please. Okay. So to conclude, in this video, I have given two methods: dual binary coding and modified dual binary coding, which is practically designed. We can design practically the filters and signals with controlled ISI and with the symbol rate of 2 WHz. Okay. So in my next video, I'll go back to this dual binary coding and modified dual binary coding with certain few examples. Okay. Practically how to implement it, what will be the interference and how we are going to interfere the signals. All those things I will explain in my next video. So thank you for watching this video.